Okay, so if you want to bring yourself into the center of your mat, as usual, and let us begin by settling ourselves down, taking a little moment for ourselves. It's super important to have that little moment before we begin to move, where we just focus a little bit on our breath and get ourselves into the best mental state you can for today. So just bringing your hands into your lap or on your knees or wherever is comfortable for you. Sitting in the most deliberate seated position that you can, so that you're not slouching over, but you're upright, but you're also relaxed. And I want you to think about your shoulders and just allow them to become a little heavier. So that's not pulling them down towards the floor, it's just relaxing them a little bit more. Sometimes we hold our shoulders a little higher and we don't even know we're doing it. So just see if you can just let them become heavy. And then release your jaw as well. See if you can take any tension out of your jaw. And if you haven't done so already, either close your eyes or just look down towards the floor and soften your gaze. And then begin to bring your attention towards your breath. So let's just start by taking a nice long steady breath in through the nose, filling up your lungs as much as you can. And then when you get right to the top and you feel like you can't get anything else into your chest, just let it go. Just continue that just for a few more times as you begin to try and find a nice gentle rhythm of your breath where you're breathing comfortably. You know how long your inhale and exhales are. And just being kind to yourself. So if you're breathing a little more shallowly, can't say that word. If you're breathing a little shorter than you normally do, that may be just because today you need that. Good. Now I just want you to think about one particular area of your body that you would like to focus on a bit more today. So it can be your legs or your arms or your torso, your neck, an area of your body that you specifically want to pay attention to. I want you to try and make a mental note of bringing every movement back to that particular body part. It could be the same as you always go to, or it could be different. It doesn't matter. Good. Now let's start to take in a deeper breath in through the nose. And try and see if you can make it a bit more audible as well. So you can hear the air rushing in through your nostrils, filling up your chest. As you get towards the top of that breath, let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling. Good. So we're stretching out the sides of our body. Let's see if we can take our left shoulder back a little bit more, and then our right shoulder back a little bit more, and now try and reach even higher. Good. As you exhale, we're going to twist to the left-hand side, bringing our right hand on top of our left knee and just turning to the side. Good. Strong inhale to lift ourselves back to center, and then exhale to twist out to the other side. Good. Again, inhale strongly back to center. Exhale, twist out to the left. Good. Inhale back to center. And then twist round to the other side. Good. From here, we're just going to turn ourselves back towards the center and then pad our hands forward so we're folding over our legs. Good. Now draw your fingers forwards and then round as far back towards the back of the room as you can, feeling your shoulders move back. Maybe you can interlace your fingers behind your back. Maybe you might be able to take hold of either elbow. Just whatever you can do to get your arms as tightly wrapped around your back as you can. Good. Now start to press your forearms away from you or your fingers away from you just to reach that chest back up to a seated position. Good. Shake out your fingers and your wrists. Turn your head gently to the right and the left, and then make your way onto all fours. Good. Just take a moment to place your hands deliberately onto the mat so that your wrists are roughly underneath your hips and your knees are underneath your hip. Nope, hang on, I've got confused. Wrist underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Good, just give your tailbone a little wiggle. Good, now we're going to start to do some forwards and backwards movements. God, I can't talk today. Inhale, let's draw over our fingers, and then exhale, let's push ourselves back towards our heels. Good, again, inhale to draw yourself up and over your fingers, and exhale to take yourself back towards your heels, moving roughly at this pace. Just trying to time that breath to the movement. So you're feeling like a wave that's moving forwards and backwards. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. Let's start to bring ourselves back to a neutral spine. Good, let's start by taking our left foot back, stretching out the back of our left leg. Good, look forwards and see if you can open your chest a little bit. Good, now let's swap it over. So bring that left knee back in and then start to slide your right foot back, pressing the toes down into the mat and looking forwards. Good, and then again, bring yourself back to a neutral spine on all fours. Good, wiggle your tailbone. Maybe wiggle in your shoulders as well. Let's bring our hands a little bit further forwards. Index finger points straight forwards, thumb and little finger press down a little bit more firmly. Good, now take a long breath in and lift your knees away from the floor and come back into downward facing dog. Good, let's lift high onto our heels. Onto our toes, sorry. So lifting our heels and coming high onto our toes, and then bending deeply into our knees. Good, now pull forwards into a plank. Hold yourself nice and steady, and then look forwards. A little unusual for a plank, so let those shoulders release. Good, let's lift our hips back into downward facing dog. Good, now let's lift our left foot up towards the ceiling. Good, come high on your right toes. Good, let's drop that foot down. Same thing on the other side, so lift the right foot up, high onto the left toes. Drop that foot down. Good, again on both sides. Inhale, lift left foot up, high on the right toes. Good, drop that foot down. Good, inhale, lift right foot, high on the left. Drop that foot down. Knees come to the floor. And take a child's pose. Good, now let's stay really high on our fingertips here. So let's lift the palms away from the floor. So we're in an active child's pose. Breathe. Good, now start to untuck your toes if you haven't done so already, sinking yourself back into a deeper child's pose. Good, draw your hands back towards you. So you're coming to sitting on your heels. Fingers go slightly behind, lift your chest, and then go back into a child's pose. Good, pull yourself up onto all fours. Good, now we're going to lift and take the left leg back. Okay, so we're going to press our left heel towards the back of the room. Toes are going to point down towards the floor, and you should feel your bum engage. Good, now make sure you're pressing firmly with your arms Try and lift your chest as far away from the floor as possible. Good. Now slowly we're going to curl this knee underneath us, squeeze it up towards our chest, and then take it all the way back out. Good. As soon as you reach that last point with your leg, curl it underneath, and then take it all the way back out. Good. 2 more of those. So inhale, curl underneath. Exhale, take it out. Good. Inhale, curl it underneath. Take it all the way back out. Good. Now pause there. Turn your toes, they're pointing to the left-hand side. So your left toes pointing to the left. Take your right toes a little bit further out towards the right-hand side. And then slowly bring your left leg straight down behind you. Good. Now come high onto your left fingertips. When you're ready, take a strong inhale, reach your left hand forwards, press into your right hand, and then start to turn and lift that left arm up towards the ceiling. Good. Now from here, see if you can just lean back a little bit. And bring yourself back towards the floor. Let's come back onto those left toes. Curl the left knee underneath you again, pressing hard with your hands to make as much space as you can so that you can step your left foot up in between your hands. Good. Now inhale, let's lift into a low lunge. Good. Bend a little deeper into that front knee. Let your hips to drop down. Good. Then fold yourself back over so you're framing that front foot. Lift the back knee and then lift again into a high lunge. Good. Again, let's fold ourselves back down towards the floor. Bring the back knee down and take yourself back into an all fours position. Just give a wiggle of your tailbone and of your shoulders. Good. Long breath in through your nose. Strong breath out through your mouth. Good. Same thing, other side. So when you're ready, let's lift and take the right leg back. Good. Keep the heel pressing back and the toes pointing down towards the floor. When you're ready, we're going to curl that knee underneath our chest, squeeze it up, and then send it all the way back out. Good. 3 more like that. So inhale, curl it under. Exhale, take it all the way back out. Inhale, curl it under. Exhale, take it back out. Last one, curl it under. Pause there before taking it all the way back out. Good. Let's turn those right toes to the right-hand side. Take the left toes a little bit further out to the left-hand side and come high onto your right fingertips. Good. Now begin to lower that right foot down behind you, pressing the weight down the outer edge of your right leg. Good. Inhale. Let's reach our right hand forwards and then turn and lift it up towards the ceiling. Good. Now from here, see if you can lean back. Open up your chest. Breathe. Good. Hold it there. One more breath. Good. Let's take it back towards the floor. Come back onto the toes of your right foot. Curl that leg underneath and step the foot up in between your hands. Good. Inhale, lift. Low lunge. Bend into that front knee. Good. Fold back over. Frame that front foot. Lift the back knee away from the floor. Inhale again to lift into a high lunge. Good. Reaching your arms up nice and tall. Coming strong on your back leg. Good. Now we're going to swing our hands forwards and then keep them going so they come back. As you do this, we're going to press into our right foot and lift ourselves nice and slowly to stand towards the top of the mat. Good. Inhale to reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Stretch out the front part of your body. And then exhale to fold yourself back down towards the floor. Good. Take your feet back just a small amount. Come really high onto your toes and feel like you're nice and buoyant in your legs. Plant your hands down into the floor and then see if you can do little tiny bunny hops to take yourself to the back of the mat. So we end up back in downward facing dog. Good. When you're ready, inhale. Pull forwards nice and slowly into a plank. Good. Lift those hips. Take yourself back. On an exhale, downward facing dog. Again, inhale. Come forwards into a plank. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Good. Inhale. Forwards into a plank. Now here we're going to either bring the knees to the floor or you can keep them raised. It's up to you. As you then lower yourself down through a chaturanga and curl yourself back into a cobra. Good. Squeeze your bum muscles together and imagine you have a small item between your heels and that's squeezing between your heels as well. Good. Flip your toes and take yourself back into downward facing dog. Good. Just gently swing your hips from side to side. Breathe. Good. Now let's find that buoyancy in our legs again. And we're going to do those little bunny hops to get us to the top of the mat. So maybe 3 or 4 bunny hops. Good. Once you get all the way to the top of your mat, extend your legs, roll your body nice and slowly. So we make our way all the way, arms lift, stretching out our body. Good. Once we're in this full body stretch, take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Pull that arm up a little higher and bend yourself over into crescent moon. Good. Come back to center. Take hold of the other wrist and then bend yourself over to the other side. Good. Back to center. Top of the mat. Fold. Now just let yourself dangle over your legs. If it helps to gently move yourself from side to side, then do so.
You understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life. You can feel yourself, not as a stranger in the world, not as something here.
Good. Now let's slowly start to try and roll our body up and bring our hands to our waist. Good. Staying at the top of the mat, we're going to press the weight down into our right foot and slowly lift our left leg, our left knee, up towards the ceiling. Now, if you're leaning back, try and bring your hips a little bit back as well. If you're leaning forwards, try and shift your hips forwards. So you start to become nice and level. Good. Now see how well controlled you can do this next movement. We're going to slowly start to tilt forwards from the hips. So we're taking our chest forwards. We're then going to reach our left leg all the way to the back of the mat and then plant it down as far to the back of the mat as you can get it. Good. If you don't manage to get it that far back, then just slide it back. Good. Now inhale, we're going to lift our arms, so we're coming back into our high lunge. Now as you exhale, we're going to twist and turn to the right hand side, legs stay where they are, and then we're going to come back to center. If you're struggling with this, with the balance of this, you can always take your legs a little bit wider. So your right foot a little bit out to the right and your left foot a little bit further out to the left. Good. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Good. Come back to center. This time on our back foot, we're going to pivot it down towards the floor so we come into our warrior 2 footing. Take a moment to take a look at your feet. Bring your hands to your waist. Once you're happy that your back toes are pointing to the left and your front toes are pointing forwards, bring your arms out and then bend. Good. Now as you inhale, straighten your front leg. And then as you exhale, rebend. Good. Again, inhale, straighten. Exhale, rebend. Turn and look over your front hand. Just see how smooth you can keep these movements. Good. Next time you bend into this front knee, we're going to pivot our hands down towards the floor, unplug our back heel. Good, and then step, big step right to the top of the mat. Good, now bend your knees deeply and then press the floor away to come all the way up to standing. Good, hands go back onto your waist. Good, let's take the weight over this time to the left foot. As you do, right leg lifts. Again, see if you can straighten up your body by moving your hips either forwards and back, whatever you think is needed. Hold it steady. Breathe. Good, now again, see how slowly you can move here. So start to tilt forwards from your hips. Take that leg behind you. Press your chest forwards and then start to lengthen out on the right leg before lowering it down to the floor. Good, if you don't get it that far back, then just slide your foot back. Good, when you're ready, inhale, let's lift our arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, twist to the left. Good, inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, twist to the left. Good, inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist. Good, let's come back to center and then bring down the heel on the right foot. So the toes are pointing to the right hand side. So we're coming into our warrior 2 footing. Bring your hands onto your waist for a second, just to make sure that you're happy with where your feet are. When you are, arms come out, bend into that front. Good, let's find that rhythm again of straightening and lengthening. Nope, bending and straightening. Good, when you're ready, inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Good, last one, straighten and then bend. Hold it there. Good, now start to turn your left toes so they're pointing in the same direction as the right. I'm going to do this the other way around so that you can see, or I can see. Okay, so our legs are going nice and wide onto the mat. In fact, take them a little bit wider than you think that you need them. Good. Hands on our waists. We're going to bend our knees nice and deeply and try and pull our knees out. Okay, so you should feel a stretch in here. Okay, then re-straighten those legs. Again, bend, pull, straighten. Bend, pull, straighten. Good, now keep these movements going. Hands can be anywhere. Good, next time you bend and pull, stay there. Stick your bum a little bit further back and then begin to fold forwards. Now you may be able to get towards the floor. You may not. Wherever you are, just fold forwards as far as your body enables you to. If you've got to the floor, walk your hands forwards until you feel the weight shift to the balls of your feet. If you're hovering, then just hover, and then when you're ready, just straighten out your legs. If your hands are on the floor, now begin to straighten out your legs. And hold it there, wherever you are. Good, nice and slowly, let's walk our hands back towards us, wherever we are. Hands come onto the waist, re-bend into the knees, and then lift yourself up before straightening out your legs. Good. Making sure that our toes are pointing either straight forwards or slightly inwards. We're going to put a small bend into our knees and take our left hand down towards the floor. If you can touch the floor, great. If you just have it hanging, that's also fine. We're then going to start to turn our body to the right-hand side. And with our other hand, we're going to place it on our lower back and just turn and look to the right. Good. Again, bring yourself back up. Re-straighten your legs. Breathe. And then again, start to take a small bend into those knees. Take the right hand down towards the floor, or just angle it. Turn the torso to the left-hand side, bringing your other hand onto your lower back. And breathe. Good. Again, lift and come back to center. Good. Let's bring our arms up towards the ceiling, but so they are shoulder distance apart. Good. Now, nice and slowly, we're going to go back into that bending of the knees, but as we bend our knees, we're going to bring our elbows in line with our chest. Good. Open up those legs, and then as you straighten, lift the arms back towards the ceiling. Okay, we're going to go round in this circle for a few times. So when you're ready, bend, arms come in line with the chest, and then straighten. Good. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Good. This time as we bend, we're going to pause here, take our hands behind us, interlace the fingers, and then fold over again. This time bringing our hands up behind us as far as you're able to. Let your head hang nice and loose, and see if you can press the weight down the outer edges of your feet. Wherever you are, breathe. Here, then nice and slowly, draw yourself back up. Good. Turn those front toes so they're back facing the front. Rebend into your front knee. Arms come out. Good. Take a long breath in. And then pivot yourself down towards the floor. Unplug your back heel. Step your front foot back so you end up in a plank. Yogi's choice, either bring your knees to the floor or keep them raised as you lower yourself down through a chaturanga. Back into a cobra. And then shift your hips back to take a child's pose. and breathe. This time, let's make our child's pose a little bit more restorative. So bringing your hands to wherever is the most comfortable, either out front, elbows bent, or taking your arms around your body to take hold of your feet. Whichever variation you feel is the most comfortable. And breathe. Okay, let's start to roll our body up. And then shift yourself onto your bum. And let's start by taking our right leg out to the side, bending our left knee so that our left foot can come onto the inside of the other leg. Good, so we're going to do a side stretch here. Now, depending on your flexibility, you may change the way that we do this. Okay, so just doing a quick check, just reach for your toes, reach for your right toes with your right hand. And if, like me, you're able to grab hold of the toes, great. You're going to do this in stage 1. For those of you who cannot reach your toes, like me, like this, you're going to do this in stage 2. Okay? So for those in stage 1, we're going to reach our arms up. We're going to tilt over, so we're stretching the side of our body. So we're not turning and looking at the foot, we're turning to the side and then bringing that right hand down, and with the other hand, reaching it up towards the ceiling. And you should feel a stretch running up the back of your leg and round and into the side, the left-hand side of your body. For those who are going to do number 2, we're going to do the same thing. Inhale to reach up, turn to the side, but this time we're going to bring our hand and slide it underneath our leg, either at the knee or higher up, underneath the thigh. With the other hand, instead of reaching it towards the ceiling, we're going to bring it down to either rest on our waist or to press onto the bent knee. Okay? So just have a play around with which version, 1 or 2. If you're struggling in 1, bring yourself to 2. There's no need to put yourself through some kind of unnecessary struggle. Know your body. Good, then wherever you are, bring yourself back to center. Both groups, 1 and 2, take a little twist to the other side. Counter twist. Good, and then come back to center. Let's take the other leg out and bring this right foot in to the inside. Same principles, other side. Okay, so quick check. Can I reach my foot with my hand? Yes. Maybe do version 1. If you can't, version 2. So when you're ready, inhale, lift up towards the ceiling, turn to the side so that you're doing a side bend, and then taking whichever variation you think you need. So long as you're feeling that back of leg stretch, coming round and into the side, opposite side of your body. It's all you want. Okay, then wherever you are, bring yourself back to center. Turn to the right. Let's do that little counter twist. And then come back to center. Good. Let's bend both knees so that the soles of our feet are pressing together. Bring the soles of your feet as close to your body as possible. If you're starting to lean back, then just bring the legs a little bit further forwards. Okay, so we want to be upright in our seated position, and then adjust our legs accordingly. Good. Now, either with our arms resting on the inside of our knees or taking hold of our feet, whichever one you think is more comfortable. Take a long breath in, lift your knees a little bit and squeeze the muscles on your inner thighs. As you exhale, let your legs relax. And either draw them a little closer towards the floor, or if you need extra help, use the weight of your arms to press down into them, as long as you're still sitting up nice and straight. Breathe. Just keep your breath nice and steady. And then when you're ready, let's start to lift those knees up towards one another, making ourselves become lengthways along the mat. We're going to take the legs straight out in front of us so that the heels are pressing down into the mat. Good. Let's see if we can try and get ourselves to sit up as straight as possible, bringing our hands lightly to touch the mat either side of our legs. Now shrug your shoulders back to try and encourage your shoulders back at all times. We're going to inhale and lift our chest up. And then as you exhale, I want you to anchor your heels down to the floor and begin to roll back. Now, when you feel like your abs are going to engage and you get to that point where you probably can't hold it any longer, I want you to lift yourself a little bit. Pause, breathe. And as you exhale, begin your descent again. And again, as soon as you get to that point where you think, oh, I think I can't hold it here, lift yourself up a little bit. Breathe. And again, make your descent until finally you reach that point where you can't hold it anymore and you fall yourself down with control to the floor. Okay, let's bring both knees in towards your chest. Take hold of your knees if you can and just rock yourself very gently from side to side. Good, now see if you can take the underside of your legs and then begin to lift the feet up towards the ceiling, as if you're going to plant your feet flat on the ceiling. And then again, rock yourself from side to side. Good, let's start by bringing our right knee in towards our chest and letting our left leg lengthen and lower towards the floor. Good, now keeping this right knee close up to your chest, take hold of the knee with the left hand and then slowly draw that knee across your body. Taking your right hand out to the right hand side, but keeping that right shoulder blade flat down on the floor, and turn your head to the right into a crocodile twist. Hold it here and breathe. Good, nice and slowly start to draw that right knee back, squeeze it in, bring your left knee in with you. Take the underside of your legs, and again, let's lift those feet up as if you're planting your feet on the ceiling. Gentle rock from side to side. Good, now let's start to draw the left knee in towards the chest as you lengthen out your right leg and send it slowly down towards the floor. Good, taking hold of the left knee with just your right hand. Draw that knee across your body. Left hand comes out to the side, keeping that left shoulder blade flat down on the floor and turning your head to the left. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's draw this left knee back. And then this time, just let it come down to the floor. And then press it forwards. Take a long breath in and squeeze every muscle that you can think of in your body, making yourself as tense as you can. And then as you exhale, release everything. Bringing your hands down onto your belly all by your side. And slowly start to let go of your breath. Relax your jaw, lower back, bum, and the space that sits between your eyebrows. Gently start to wiggle your fingers and your toes and your nose. On an inhale, draw your knees towards your chest and roll yourself to either the right or the left-hand side, pressing yourself up to a seated position. In the center of your mat with your eyes still closed. Let's take a long breath in through our nose and then sigh it out. And slowly blink your eyes open. Thank you for joining on this Friday, sunny Friday afternoon. I hope you enjoy whatever it is that you have planned for the rest of your Friday and your weekend. But to all of you who have practiced today, but most importantly to yourselves for coming on a Friday, we can bow and say, Namaste. Thanks everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.